I'm Ryan Yamamoto, and this is The Minute. The NBA has postponed tomorrow's game against the Mavericks due to the death of Warriors assistant Dejan Milojevic. He suffered a heart attack during a private team dinner in Utah on Tuesday. He was just 46 years old. First Lady Dr. Jill Biden is coming back to the Bay Area today. She's scheduled to arrive in Sonoma County from Southern California this afternoon and speak at a private event in Healdsburg. It's part of a 4-day fundraising tour for her husband's re-election campaign. And the commercial Dungeness crab season officially begins today. This comes after a series of delays meant to protect migrating whales from getting tangled in fishing lines. Fishermen can put out 50% of their traps on the Sonoma-Mendocino County line all the way down to the U.S.-Mexico border. The Bay Area's only primetime newscast at 8 and 9 p.m. on the all-new Pix Plus 44 Cable 12. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. This is The Minute.
Now, the big weather story for us today, it's the foggy conditions we woke up to this morning, especially up in the North Bay and Solano County. But heading into this afternoon, there's just cloudy skies and cool temperatures for us today. Now, once we head into the forecast tomorrow, we're watching this area of low pressure develop from just offshore, and that's going to bring in lots of showers right around the corner for us, not only for Friday evening, but lasting into this weekend too. Let's zoom in just a little bit closer to home. We can see those clouds rolling in from offshore today. Light winds for the most part, daytime highs upper 50s, lower 60s. Not a bad Thursday if you ask me. Once we head into our Friday forecast, we wake up with light scattered showers and then that first band of rain. Heavy showers are expected to move in all throughout the Bay Area, from wine country stretching down into the Santa Cruz beach areas all the way into the evening hours tomorrow night. And that's going to last as we head into this weekend with storms surging their way in from the south. And that's going to make its way up into the Sierra Tahoe area too, giving them plenty of snow right around the corner. Now that last Saturday heading into Sunday, and in total as we extend even into Monday of next week with more rain in the forecast on that day too, we can see close to around 4 inches of rainfall up in the North Bay, close to around 1.5 inches down closer to San Jose. And let's actually dive into our forecast today and stretch down into San Jose, because for the most part, we're talking about upper 50s and lower 60s for our daytime highs this afternoon. Santa Rosa hitting 61 later today. As we stretch all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley, we're actually going to be topping off with daytime highs in the mid-60s in areas like San Jose. So off to a mild start, but boy, do we have a big change in the forecast as early as tomorrow afternoon. Now we're prepared as we head into this weekend. Keep those umbrellas handy. Give yourself extra space on the roads. Our inland forecast is looking really wet as we kick off next week, and we're going to see a very similar trend for our friends along the bay too. If you live near San Francisco or anywhere throughout the bay, we're going to continue to see showers roll their way back in throughout mid next week, and we'll keep you updated on those rainfall totals too.
Well, the drug crisis in San Francisco has never been this deadly. Health officials say the city experienced more accidental overdose deaths last year than ever before, mostly due to fentanyl. The city health department reported 806 overdose deaths in 2023. That's an increase of 159 deaths compared to 2022, when 647 were recorded and 91 more deaths than 2020, which was previously the worst year for deadly overdoses. Our Jose Martinez spoke to workers on the front lines trying to reverse this troubling trend.
I'm here in the Tenderloin where the issue of overdoses is real. I spent some time with some community ambassadors who are out here every single day trying to prevent people from dying. Stephen and Terrell, community ambassadors with Code Tenderloin, dedicate their days to saving lives in the Tenderloin.
You need some Narcan? You good? Okay. Well, this is Narcan. So what we do with the roving team is one of the things that we pass out is Narcan for the overdose prevention. You know, so we engage, we go through that type of particular Narcan training to get an understanding on how this is used, how to engage with a person that's in the midst of ODing.
They both work tirelessly to save as many lives as possible.
We actually go into a lot of the hotels where you don't see people and it don't look like a hot spot, but inside the hotel, they have no services, you know, or limited service. So we go in and we do follow-ups and checkups.
We met up with them while they were making their usual rounds near overdose spots like Taylor, Eddy, and Turk Streets.
San Francisco alone cannot solve this problem of record overdose deaths. We rely on our city and community partners, our legislators at the local, state, and federal level to join us in this moment to continue to tackle this crisis.
In a statement, Mayor London Breed said, "We will continue offering services, treatment, and finding ways to help people accept the care they need. We are also enforcing drug laws to shut down open-air drug markets."
Right now, what we're hearing is people need tools to get where they need to go. They need fentanyl, they need methadone, they need tools. They just can't just come off of this fentanyl just like that. They need on-demand detox centers. We need mental health facilities where we can take somebody. We don't need to tell someone, you're ready for rehab, you can get there tomorrow, maybe a week. No, we need to be able to say, yes, let's take you somewhere right now.
And a big part of that effort is in the hands of what Steve and Terrell do every day out here.
A lot of the faces that you see on these blocks, you'll see them every day. So we speak every day. What you doing today? Hey, this is what we're doing today. Maybe the next day or the next day after, they'll say, hey, I want to take you up on that offer and I want to take advantage of this program that you're offering. I remember last week you talked to me over here, and here today I'm here to take you up on that.
And ultimately, they tell me this is an ongoing process, but they're committed to keep doing what they can to save more lives.
And San Francisco has been working on shutting down open-air drug markets in the Tenderloin since last year. Local law enforcement have made hundreds of arrests and seized hundreds of pounds of narcotics since May of 2023. And the mayor has also pushed for more options to force treatment in the worst-case scenarios of drug addiction. The city became the only Bay Area county to take action right away after the state's conservatorship law expanded who can be forced into substance abuse or mental health treatment. The idea is divisive, but as Katie Nielsen spoke to some people who believe it could be a chance to save lives.
San Francisco city leaders say conservatorship is the option of last resort, but because of the city's drug crisis, it could be necessary in some extreme cases. We talked with one woman who said her daughter might still be alive if conservatorship would have been an option.
It took us days to believe that she was gone, and me and her other relatives. And I still don't quite believe it. I still feel like she's out there somewhere.
Allison Monroe is talking about her daughter, Diana Staros. She died last fall after a drug overdose in a laundromat bathroom.
She was a good artist.
Diana battled an addiction to meth and fentanyl for years, and her mother says she might still be alive today if there was a way to force her into treatment back then.
They could have said, you don't have the sense not to take these kind of drugs. You know, you need to be kept away from them until you're well enough to know to keep away from them.
That's the idea behind the change in the conservatorship law. Before January 1st, someone could only be placed in long-term, involuntary treatment if they could not provide for food, clothing, and shelter for themselves due to mental illness or alcoholism. But after the first of the year, SB 43 expanded that to include people with drug addictions.
And it's another opportunity for us to help all those in need if we can.
Kelly Dearman is the head of the Department of Disability and Aging in San Francisco, which oversees the Office of Conservatorship. She says the city was aware of the impending change to the law and started increasing staffing in the office to start implementing treatment programs right at the start of the year.
We are ready. As we said, we already have our public conservator ready. We work very closely with our partners, and so we thought that we could start now.
San Francisco Mayor London Breed is the one who has been pushing the city to start helping those in need as quickly as possible.
We're ready to do it. We have departments who are already doing it, and it's just a matter of adding and increasing the capacity to be able to take people in.
Will it make a difference in terms of what we see on the streets? That remains to be seen, as the process to strip someone of their rights is the option of last resort. But for Allison, she says sometimes that's the only option left.
I think she would still be, definitely she would still be alive, because it gives us a tool to work with. And so I'm hoping we implement it as soon as possible.
Opponents of the conservatorship plan say involuntary treatment does not work, and the money should be instead put towards supportive programs like mental health services and housing.
And the city tells Katie it's still working on a way to track how many people have been forced into treatment. In the meantime, other Bay Area counties say They need more time to work out the logistics and the finances. Contra Costa County plans to wait until 2026, the longest delay allowed. Marin County says it will take action by then, and Santa Clara County plans to hold a meeting on this late next month, but has not given a timetable. Still ahead on CBS News Bay Area, California is cracking down on retail theft. The arrest that just announced that could close more than 24 cases from Vallejo to San Diego. Plus, a warning for parents from the local FBI how to protect your teens from sextortion. And another attack at a high school in Santa Rosa, this time involving a group of teenage girls in the bathroom. 5 parents say their concerns over student safety are falling on deaf ears.
These are the stories that inspire us.
This is where we're going to build all the bikes.
Connect us.
All right, guys.
Drive us. These are the stories that reveal our true character.
This is the most rewarding thing that I've ever done.
Told by those who believe in the power of community.
Oh my goodness.
Good to see you.
The kinds of stories you'll only see here.
Oh, man.
Our stories define us.
It's a cool and cloudy day for us here in the Bay Area. High clouds rolling in from offshore. It becomes a lot more dense into the overnight hours tonight as we gear up for light scattered showers early tomorrow morning, but it's really light and it's mostly along our coastline just into that 11 o'clock hour. We are ready though as we head into the evening hours for heavy rain right around the corner. This is the time to prepare now on this dry day. Make sure you have your umbrellas ready to go, packed in those bags for our Friday setup. And to add to that, make sure your windshield wipers are good and ready for this weekend because we have more rain lasting into this weekend. Saturday and Sunday, heavy showers rolling their way in from the south are going to last into Monday's forecast. And in total, we could see close to around 4 inches of rainfall up in the North Bay with about an inch down in the South Bay.
The state says it's broken up a ring of thieves responsible for more than 24 burglaries across the Bay Area and the state. One of those thefts was a high-end heist at a Louis Vuitton store in Walnut Creek. And this week, California Attorney General Rob Bonta announced 3 suspects allegedly connected to that case are now facing several charges. Our Kelsey Thorid reports.
It won't be tolerated by us, by our local law enforcement partners, period. We will.
California Attorney General Rob Bonta says 3 suspects involved in 25 burglaries from September 8th through November 14th of last year will be charged with multiple felonies,
including organized retail theft, second-degree burglary, grand theft, and vandalism. It's almost 50 counts of felonies, 10 misdemeanor counts.
The Attorney General says these suspects burglarized businesses from Vallejo all the way down to San Diego, stealing everything from cigarettes to designer purses. Here in Walnut Creek, the Attorney General says the suspects targeted the local Louis Vuitton store, driving a stolen SUV through the front window, making off with close to $250,000 in stolen goods. Bob Linscheid is the president and CEO of the Walnut Creek Chamber of Commerce. He says retail theft is the #1 concern for business owners in town.
The organized retail theft is the one that's most concerning, but we're also seeing almost an callous feeling on the part of the perpetrator that they can get away with this sort of thing.
Bob told me he is happy the Attorney General is prosecuting this case, but he still thinks the state needs to take a harder stance on prosecuting smaller petty theft. Proposition 47, passed by voters in 2014, more than doubled the felony threshold for petty theft and shoplifting.
The way our law reads now in California with Proposition 47 and 57, there's not much of an impact if you're caught with a petty theft.
And for years, there have been a push to repeal or reverse Prop 47. The Attorney General did not discuss petty theft, but he did say organized retail crime like this case is a top priority for his office. And the FBI is warning about a growing and alarming trend involving our youth here in the Bay Area and across the country. Predators are targeting young people with sextortion crimes. That's when offenders coerce a minor to send sexually explicit images or videos, then threaten to release those images unless they pay them. From October to 2021 to March of 2023, the FBI and Homeland Security got more than 13,000 reports of this, involving more than 12,000 victims, and they say it led to at least 20 suicides.
The scammers are getting in contact with the kids just through regular means of communication. They will look at online platforms where children go. Gaming platforms are often seen as an entryway for these scammers. Social media platforms, they'll make that contact. They'll shift the kids to other platforms where you can exchange video and pictures, and then they'll move into their plot.
If you or someone you know believes they are a victim of a sextortion crime, you are encouraged to contact the FBI. Well, a teenage girl was arrested at a high school in Santa Rosa after police say a group of girls assaulted another student in a bathroom at the school. This happened at Montgomery High School on Tuesday. Police say the girl they arrested for the attack was the ringleader of a group of girls who cornered the teen, then repeatedly punched and kicked her. She was taken to the hospital. This is the same school where a student was stabbed and killed inside a classroom last year. Weeks after that, 2 more students were arrested for allegedly bringing knives to school. Ultimately, the school's principal and assistant principal were put on leave. Teen violence has been a problem in Santa Rosa. The police department says the number of minors arrested for gun possession was up 500% last year. They blame the increase on gangs, saying the majority of the city's homicides were gang-related. Fights at high schools got so bad, the district actually put a police officer at each campus in December, but they were only there until the holiday break. John Ramos spoke to parents who are looking for a more permanent solution.
Here at Montgomery High, school officials were hoping that winter break would cool down some of the violence, but it looks like it's happened again. And now there are those who are saying they need to take a more permanent approach to the problem. On Tuesday, Montgomery High students and parents were informed about a violent beating that took place in a girls' restroom. The victim was repeatedly beaten and kicked and had hair torn from her head before the assailant stole her cell phone and fled.
It's heartbreaking. I'm a parent. And it's hard not to get emotional because I think of that girl as being, I have a daughter, and I can't imagine that experience for her and her family. It's going to affect her the rest of her life.
Melissa Stewart has a child at Montgomery and was so alarmed about the violence that has occurred there that she co-founded a parents group called the Safe Campus Alliance. But her shock turned to anger when the group's call for the return of campus safety resource officers, or SROs, was ignored.
It feels like we're asking for something that's falling on deaf ears. We're surrounded by other school districts that do have safety resource officers, and the programs are going really well, and they're not having the same incidents on their campus. So I think it's something that absolutely needs to be explored, and we're not seeing that by a lot of our school board members.
In December, the district announced that police officers would be on the high school campuses, but just for the remainder of the fall term. Now that they're back from break, students say nothing much has changed.
Is there a violence problem on this school?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, there's just a lot of fights and like altercations with a lot of students on this campus. You know, there's a lot of gang violence too. A lot of people don't talk about the gang violence, but there is a lot.
Stewart doesn't blame the high school. In her view, it is school board policies that have removed disciplinary action and campus supervision in the name of social justice.
Yes, there are some trustees on our school board that have voiced very strongly that they will never, as long as they're on the board, they will never see safety resource officers on our campus.
She thinks it's sending a message to students that there are no consequences for fighting.
I can't imagine it sends a message that there is going to be a consequence. I think it needs to be a deeper discussion, and it needs to be taken seriously by all of our school board trustees.
The district has voted for a pilot program to reintroduce SROs, but currently there are no officers on campus. In Tuesday's beating and robbery, school staff were unable to detain the suspect, who left the area before police arrived.
Also in Santa Rosa, 6 suspected teenage gang members have been arrested after police say they stabbed a bike rider. It happened near Bellevue Ranch Park on Thursday. Police say 15 teens chased down the cyclists after exchanging words. Investigators say 6 of them assaulted and stabbed the man. The suspects also stole his bike. Police say they're between the ages of 15 and 17. They say they found knives, guns, and gang paraphernalia after searching each suspect's home. The victim was taken to the hospital but has since been released. Still ahead, Dungeness crab season is finally here after a series of delays, but this year the rules are a little different. And a reminder, you can stream CBS News Bay Area wherever, whenever. Catch all of our live newscasts plus news and weather updates throughout the day. Find us on the free CBS News app or on Pluto TV.
This is Pix Plus. More of what you want, more often. More local news in the morning and the primetime edition. The only 8 and 9 p.m. news. With Devin Feely, Elizabeth Cook, Juliette Goodrich, and Sarah Donchi. Groundbreaking original storytelling from the KPIX newsroom. Plus Bear Politics, Project Earth, and weather like you've never seen. The primetime edition. Weeknights on the new Pix Plus. 44 Cable 12.
It's a cool and cloudy day for us here in the Bay Area with upper 50s and lower 60s for our daytime highs, light winds and plenty of clouds filling the Santa Clara Valley, stretching all the way up into the North Bay too. Now this morning we woke up to a dense fog advisory in areas like Vallejo, stretching all the way over into Petaluma and all throughout the Solano County area too. But as we head into this afternoon, we have bigger things that we need to be talking about. These clouds, it's going to be a thing of the past once we head into the forecast tomorrow. Rain is returning into the Bay Area starting tomorrow afternoon, lingering all throughout Saturday, Sunday, and Monday of next week. That system first impacts the coastline into the 2 o'clock hour tomorrow, and it stretches all throughout wine country down into the Santa Cruz area into the 4 o'clock hour with heavy pockets of rain at times. Now that system continues to track off into the Sierra, but with that, we see more moisture surging its way in from the south, and we see more consistent showers into Saturday and Sunday's forecast. After Monday, as we add up what we are expected to see, we can see anywhere up to around 4 inches of rain up in the North Bay, about 2 inches off near Concord, and about 1.5 inches closer to areas like San Jose.
Well, today is a day crab fishermen have been waiting for after plenty of delays due to whale migration off the coast. The commercial Dungeness crab season has officially started. The fishery opened from the Sonoma-Mendocino County line to the U.S.-Mexico border after the clock struck 12:01 this morning, but as Sean Chitness reports, there is a catch.
It's a grueling schedule with tough hours, and once again, fishermen will be having more setbacks with only 50% of the gear that they can use to catch crab, as well as taking on less crew members on their boats. Still, they're excited as they will be coming to shore this morning with some of that crab fresh out of the water. Matt Juanez spent the day preparing for another season at sea, getting bait, checking fluids and oils on his boat, and making sure the motor is in working order.
This is like a gamble. What you put into it, you'll get back out. How hard you work, you can get that reward. So you never know.
He's been a commercial fisherman for more than a decade, and this is the start of his 4th season on the boat, the Palmaria. It's a chance to keep full-time work that feeds a passion he calls an addiction.
I might as well make a career out of it. If I'm going to be broke, I want to be happy.
He usually has 2 other guys on his crew, but can only afford to have 1 other man on board this season, and will have to operate with half the gear you ideally want to catch as much crab as possible.
So this is pretty much where I'll live for the next probably month and a half, if not longer.
The traps are already in place. Now it's just time to go out and start catching fresh crab and bringing it back to the pier to sell to customers right off the boat. Even with the setbacks this season, he can't imagine doing any other job and looks forward to getting back on the water.
That's it. I mean, that's why we do it, you know?
The season will only be about 2.5 months this year, but the opportunity out there helps him remain positive doing the work that he loves.
It's like a piñata. You can't mess around when this is it. This is when the piñata's going to break. If you're not ready, you're going to lose.
And despite all these challenges, Matt points out that they're able to start the price for crab at the same number as they have been the last few years. A great victory given all of the challenges, including the impact of inflation on prices. He'll be arriving at Pier 47 around 9:30 and hopes to be back on Friday and Saturday, depending on how quickly he sells out the crab.
And coming up in our next half hour in CBS News Bay Area, she spent her life trying to help others right up until the moment hers was cut short. More on an East Bay woman killed while crossing the street and the help police are now asking for. And some tech billionaires have been secretly buying plots of land in Solano County. Now they're ready to build, but first they need to win over voters.
These are your neighborhoods. This is your world. CBS News Bay Area.
Still ahead on KPI.
With Juliette Goodrich. And the CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell. Taking you to the day's top stories. Smart, comprehensive coverage. And immersive weather like you have never seen it. Join Juliette Goodrich and Nora O'Donnell. Weeknight, 6 to 7:30 on KPIX.
Ryan Yamamoto. This is The Minute. There's been another case of violence at a school in Santa Rosa. Police say a 14-year-old student was assaulted by a group of girls inside the bathroom at Montgomery High. Police say they have arrested the girl who they call the ringleader. San Francisco just had its deadliest year ever for accidental drug overdoses. The health officials announced the city recorded 806 deaths in 2023, most due to fentanyl. There were 725 deaths reported in 2020, which was the worst year on record until last year. And today, SFO closed one of its 4 runways for a reconstruction project. A 5-month closure is to improve the safety of the runways. The airport says travelers can expect delays. The project is federally funded and will cost $55 million. The Bay Area's only primetime newscast at 8 and 9 p.m. on the all-new Pix Plus 44 Cable 12. I'm Ryan Yamamoto, and this is The Minute.
Now, the big weather story for us today, it's the foggy conditions we woke up to this morning, especially up in the North Bay and Solano County. But heading into this afternoon, there's just cloudy skies and cool temperatures for us today. Now, once we head into the forecast tomorrow, we're watching this area of low pressure develop from just offshore, and that's going to bring in lots of showers right around the corner for us, not only for Friday evening, but lasting into this weekend too. Let's zoom in just a little bit closer to home. We can see those clouds rolling in from offshore today. Light winds for the most part. Daytime highs upper 50s, lower 60s. Not a bad Thursday if you ask me. Once we head into our Friday forecast, we wake up with light scattered showers and then that first band of rain. Heavy showers are expected to move in all throughout the Bay Area, from wine country stretching down into the Santa Cruz beach areas all the way into the evening hours tomorrow night. And that's going to last as we head into this weekend with storms surging their way in from the south. And that's going to make its way up into the Sierra Tahoe area too, giving them plenty of snow right around the corner. Now that last Saturday heading into Sunday, and in total as we extend even into Monday of next week with more rain in the forecast on that day too, we could see close to around 4 inches of rainfall up in the North Bay, close to around 1.5 inches down closer to San Jose. And let's actually dive into our forecast today and stretch down into San Jose, because for the most part, we're talking about upper 50s and lower 60s for our daytime highs this afternoon. Santa Rosa hitting 61 later today. As we stretch all the way down into the Santa Clara Valley, we're actually going to be topping off with daytime highs in the mid-60s in areas like San Jose. So off to a mild start, but boy, do we have a big change in the forecast as early as tomorrow afternoon. Now we're prepared as we head into this weekend. Keep those umbrellas handy. Give yourself extra space on the roads. Our inland forecast is looking really wet as we kick off next week, and we're going to see a very similar trend for our friends along the Bay too. If you live near San Francisco or anywhere throughout the Bay, we're going to continue to see showers roll their way back in throughout mid next week, and we'll keep you updated on those rainfall totals too.
In Oakland, police are searching for a driver after a woman who dedicated her time trying to help others was killed in a hit and run. 59-year-old Kim Barranco was hit twice as she tried to cross San Pablo Avenue in Oakland last week. And police are still looking for one of those cars. Investigators released these photos from surveillance video of that accident. They are searching for this SUV, a white Toyota RAV4. Meanwhile, friends and family gathered to honor the woman they called Ladybug. They told her Andrea Nakano the victim was a beacon of light.
Yeah, where I'm going soon.
A song for Kim Barranco's mother as people gathered for a vigil. Barranco's grieving family discovering how much she was loved in her community.
I'm just taking it all in. I didn't realize that she affected that man. I knew I loved her, but
see you later.
She did everybody else.
Barranco was hit twice on January 9th, just outside of Serenity House, a place she volunteered to help those recovering from substance abuse. She was hit just after leaving Serenity House.
The street and the community is not the same because Ladybug is not here. And for her to be taken so tragically, I think is what's hurting us more.
Those at Serenity House say there was no one quite like Kim.
She had the light inside of her that would brighten up everyone else's day.
Gardner says her smile and her hugs are 2 things she will miss the most, but the community will miss Kim's desire to help those in need.
We were standing at the door, Kim, and she, here I come. And I mean, just the joy of her running, coming down here to know that she was going to be of service.
Her warmth was felt by all those she touched. To remember her precious life, a community member painted ladybugs on these stones, which will be given out at her memorial.
even though Kim is gone. Her life lives on because we would know that she would want us to connect with each other and embrace each other during this difficult time.
Police say the driver of the first car did stop and is cooperating. They say the second driver of the white SUV may not have realized they had hit someone. 4 suspects charged in connection to the deadly shooting of an Oakland police officer, Twan Lay, are in court today for their plea hearings. 3 of them have been charged with murder. The 4th man is charged with second-degree burglary. Officer Lay was killed last month while responding to a break-in at a cannabis business. By now, you may have heard of the so-called secret city in Solano County, backed by a group of tech billionaires. They have been buying up land for a mysterious new city. Now they're putting their plan before voters. A group called California Forever says their plan will be on the ballot in November, and voters will get to decide whether this community will be allowed. It would be situated right between Travis Air Force Base and Rio Vista, and would be built on more than 18,000 acres, about a third of the land the company has bought over the last 5 years. And we heard some big promises about what the city could be. Words like utopia have been thrown out. There's also been a lot of criticism. Lauren Toms has more on the people who made their case.
Kathleen Threffel showed up to Rio Vista's Veterans Hall hoping to hear more about an ambitious plan to create a new town on land neighboring her own 240 acres. She's skeptical of the plan, but said she was shocked when organizers wouldn't let her inside to hear more about it.
I'm scared about it. I live on Azevedo Road, which is on the north side of where the project begins. I have 3 water wells on my ranch, and I'm afraid that I'm going to run out of water when 50,000 people move in.
On Wednesday, organizers from California Forever publicly unveiled their most detailed plan to date for a new town between Rio Vista and Travis Air Force Base.
How will we support the businesses that depend on agriculture?
Inside the hall, leaders of the for-profit group pitched their plans to supporters. They've spent months collaborating with local residents and leaders, brainstorming an innovative new town in the Central Valley. The billionaire-backed group has made bold promises to nearly double the secure zone around the Air Force Base, build 15,000 homes per 50,000 people, create well-paying jobs, build schools, and attract people who can have a walkable, self-sustaining lifestyle. The potential, some say, is massive.
This could be an economic engine that helps not only build a new community with jobs, but can help revitalize our downtown.
Brian Spalding has lived in Rio Vista for over 4 decades. He's raised his family here, but says the infrastructure isn't set up to be sustainable for his kids who drive hours each day commuting into the Bay Area for work. He says the plan could open up a world of opportunities for the Central Valley, including Vacaville and Vallejo, to revitalize their downtowns and attract a new generation of families to live and work in this area. The whole plan is the brainchild of Jan Sromek, a former Goldman Sachs trader. His effort and passion is now set on building the unnamed community to be a haven of walkability and urban lifestyle.
Solano County has amazing suburban communities. What it doesn't have is a denser place that maybe has more of the amenities that you see in bigger cities.
The group proposes $400 million for Solano County residents to invest in homes and businesses in the new town. Sromek now has to win the votes of at least 13,000 voters like Kathleen to support a ballot initiative that would give the green light for city planners to move forward and overturn existing policies that protect agricultural land from being turned into urban areas.
I hope for the people who are skeptical that some of them will take a second look.
For Kathleen, it's a gamble on the future that could disrupt her family's 150-year history in Rio Vista.
We fight for our way of life. It's not easy.
But for others, an exciting new potential of a nearly unheard of affordable lifestyle in the greater Bay Area.
And even if voters do approve the plan, it would still need 2 years of environmental review. We started talking about this back in July when the news broke that a mysterious group was buying up the land. Local politicians demanded an investigation, saying it was a national security threat to Travis Air Force Base. Neighbors have been giving the company an earful at town halls. California Forever even sued some ranchers and farmers, saying they conspired to raise the price of their land. And some of the people backing California Forever are a who's who of the tech world, including Steve Jobs' widow, Lorraine Powell Jobs, LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman, and venture capitalist Mark Andreessen. You can find a lot more information about the plans for this new city on our website at kpix.com. We post the new renderings and a map in the story. Up next, the Niners can't wait to get back on the field at Levi's on Saturday. We hear from the locker room about getting ready after a long extended rest.
Your late night is getting a whole lot better for two reasons. Sarah and Stephen. The Late News with Sarah Donchie. Then The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Back with all new episodes.
Really?
These are two shows you'll want to spend the night with.
Then go to sleep knowing you won at TV. What?
Record it, stream it, watch it live. The Late News and the all-new Late Show. Weeknights starting at 11 on KPIX.
Cloudy day for us here in the Bay Area. High clouds rolling in from offshore. It becomes a lot more dense into the overnight hours tonight as we gear up for light scattered showers early tomorrow morning, but it's really light and it's mostly along our coastline just into that 11 o'clock hour. We are ready though as we head into the evening hours for heavy rain right around the corner. This is the time to prepare now on this dry day. Make sure you have your umbrellas ready to go, packed in those bags for our Friday setup. And to add to that, make sure your windshield wipers are good and ready for this weekend because we have more rain lasting into this weekend. Saturday and Sunday, heavy showers rolling their way in from the south are going to last into Monday's forecast. And in total, we could see close to around 4 inches of rainfall up in the North Bay with about an inch down in the South Bay.
Well, the proposed ban on youth football here in California has been sacked in Sacramento. State lawmakers shelved the bill after Governor Newsom promised he would veto it. Just outside the Capitol, students and parents protesting the proposed ban were happy to hear the news. And would a ban tackle football for kids 12 and under? The goal was to protect children from brain injuries, but parents say the game has brought a lot of positives to their children.
For 6 years, they've been trying to ban youth tackle football, ignoring the voices, largely, of these parents and kids, and pushing forward with this senseless legislation. We keep stopping it, but it keeps coming back.
Governor Newsom says instead of a ban, he'll work with health experts and parents to strengthen safety in youth football. And we're counting down until the 49ers take on the Packers this Saturday. The Niners are well rested and they are ready to kick off their playoff run. As Matt Lively explains, they're just itching to play a meaningful game.
This is the Volkswagen Red and Gold Report.
The 49ers are well rested and healthy coming off their bye week during Wild Card Weekend. While 24 other NFL teams are now just hanging out at home or hitting the golf course, the Niners are hoping that they don't get another week off until the third week of February.
blessing. Everybody on their trips to Cancun and Cabo, being here doing what we love.
The Niners aren't quite that well rested, but they haven't played a meaningful game since New Year's Eve in Washington, D.C. when they clinched the 1 seed. And everybody on the roster is ready to go with the exception of Clee Furl.
Finish the sentence for me. This team feels as fresh as we what?
I mean, I don't know. I guess I wouldn't say week 1. I don't want to bullcrap you, but yeah, I'd say, probably week 8, week 9. I mean, that extra bye week does a lot for you. If you can't get up for the playoffs, then you're probably in the wrong sport.
For the Red and Gold Report, I'm Matt Lively.
And do you have your football gear ready for the big game? We checked with the official NFL shop. The number 1 49ers jersey is Christian McCaffrey, followed by Brock Purdy. Coming up, we introduce you to one woman who took her community's worst day ever and made it an opportunity to offer comfort and support. How this week's Jefferson Awards winner is transforming tragedy.
I would like to see the headlines that the national press picks up on and say, look, there's another side to the Bay Area.
We take those headlines a little step further to sort of connect all these wonderful communities here.
Really embracing the positivity and hopefully spreading it.
The Bay Area is full of some amazing, innovative change makers.
People that are out there making a difference.
In fact, I feel privileged that I get to share those stories.
Wake up with the Morning Edition, weekdays on KPIX.
Cloudy day for us here in the Bay Area with upper 50s and lower 60s for our daytime highs, light winds and plenty of clouds filling the Santa Clara Valley, stretching all the way up into the North Bay too. Now this morning we woke up to a dense fog advisory in areas like Vallejo, stretching all the way over into Petaluma and all throughout the Solano County area too. But as we head into this afternoon, we have bigger things that we need to be talking about. These clouds, it's going to be a thing of the past once we head into the forecast tomorrow. Rain is returning into the Bay Area starting tomorrow afternoon, lingering all throughout Saturday, Sunday, and Monday of next week. That system first impacts the coastline into the 2 o'clock hour tomorrow, and it stretches all throughout wine country down into the Santa Cruz area into the 4 o'clock hour with heavy pockets of rain at times. Now that system continues to track off into the Sierra, but with that, we see more moisture surging its way in from the south, and and we see more consistent showers into Saturday and Sunday's forecast. After Monday, as we add up what we are expected to see, we can see anywhere up to around 4 inches of rain up in the North Bay, about 2 inches off near Concord, and about 1.5 inches closer to areas like San Jose.
Well, she's a pillar of support for the farm worker community nearly 1 year after 7 people died in a mass shooting at the Half Moon Bay Farms. We first introduced you to her in 2020 when she won a Bay Area Jefferson Award, and Sharon Chin updates us on the woman many farm workers call an angel.
Dr. Belinda Hernandez Arriaga had already been providing basic support for farm workers on the central San Mateo County coast, but when the violence broke out, she was needed more than ever. Dr. Belinda Hernandez Arriaga shines a bright light in a time of unimaginable grief.
There's been so many miracles that we've seen. There's so many threads of love.
Belinda and her nonprofit Alas leaped into action after a deadly shooting spree at 2 coastal mushroom farms a year ago in a case of suspected workplace violence. Belinda and her team knew most of the victims and their families, and they've led the way in supporting the farm worker community.
It feels shorter than a year. It feels like it just happened. And so for us and for so many, and for the victims, the emotions are still very fresh in our hearts.
Belinda and Alas are rays of comfort from their home base, a sunshine-colored house that a donor bought for the nonprofit the first pandemic summer of 2020. Today, they're serving twice as many people, 2,000 a week. Not only with the basics from food to healthcare and education, but with mental health counseling. The need has doubled after the shooting. So Belinda and Alas launched new art and music therapy programs that help people walk and talk through their trauma in shared cultural experiences.
We have to be there to, think about how do we heal together, collectively.
For example, participants performed for an audience of hundreds over the holidays. They showcased what they'd learned in accordion lessons they'd taken for music therapy.
California vine contratado a piscar esperado.
Belinda also provides a space for self-expression, where Sinoki Martinez can share songs he's written about his long life as a farm worker. Sinoki's music helped a recent audience feel they are not alone in their struggles.
As a cultural healer singing, people were crying when he sang that night.
For Belinda, a licensed mental health clinician, embracing the coastside farm worker community brings her healing as well.
That collective strength, the care, and my personal faith has helped us to say, we will get through this one day at a time.
One day.
And Belinda says the shooting drew attention to abysmal living conditions to which many farm workers were subjected to. She's thankful the county has stepped up to help, greenlighting 100 new housing units. Melinda's nonprofit is also working on housing for senior citizen farm workers. She's also planning a vigil at her office this Tuesday, the 1-year anniversary of the shooting. And you can nominate your local hero for a Jefferson Award online at kpix.com/hero. Now for a look at today's most talked about stories. The NFL has revealed the performers who will be kicking off Super Bowl 58. Country singer Reba McEntire will be singing the national anthem. Rapper Post Malone will perform America the Beautiful, and singer and actress Andra Day will perform Lift Every Voice and Sing. You can watch Super Bowl 58 in the halftime show featuring Usher on KPIX and Paramount Plus on Sunday, February 11th at 3:30. Drag icon and Emmy winner RuPaul is heading to the Bay Area. RuPaul announced he'll be at the Koran Theater in San Francisco. He's celebrating his soon-to-be released memoir, The House of Hidden Meetings. Fans will have a chance to hear his story and personal philosophy. The event is set to happen on March 14th. And a new exhibit is coming to San Francisco's De Young Museum. It celebrates the history of high fashion in the city. It's called Fashioning San Francisco, A Century of Style. It covers looks from the 1900s all the way through today and includes work from more than 50 designers. The idea is to showcase San Francisco's self-expression through fashion. Well, thanks for streaming CBS News Bay Area. I'm Ryan Yamamoto. We'll be right back with the First Alert forecast and a look at your top stories.